I'm going to be spending the next 50 days of my life shiny hunting in Pokémon Violet. With the teal mask right on the horizon, I figured what better way to end our adventures in Generation 9's base game. And let me tell ya, I truly didn't know what I was getting myself into here. But I promise you this, I found so many shiny Pokemon while playing. So come along with me on this epic journey. How many hours will I spend looking for different colored Pokemon? How many sandwiches will I consume? How many will I find? And how many will I fail? Let's get started. My first day of this entire challenge started off by seeing something I don't think I ever have before.
What in tarnation is that?
So of course I had to immediately investigate, where I was rewarded with a shiny Kilowattrel after just 10 minutes. And after making my first sparkling sandwich, a shiny Floatzel after 20 minutes.
That's a shiny.
And the Clawitzer outbreak wasn't real. So with 16 minutes left on my sparkling water boost, I went to a different water Pokemon outbreak, Arrokuda. And while knocking out 60 of them...
Wait, is this a shiny?
And after that, there were still 8 minutes on the boost. And somehow another 2 water type outbreaks, where I was able to snag myself a shiny Surskit. And although the Psyduck outbreak was right there, my water boost had ended. And I had had my fill of hunting in the water for now. But don't worry, there will be plenty more Psyducks. So I went over to a Lechonk outbreak instead, which took a bit longer to shine at about an hour and 15 minutes. And after that, I wanted to hunt something a little special. 50 days may not seem like that long, but it is. And over the course of these next 50 days of shiny hunting, there are a lot of tasks that I want to complete, as shown here on screen. And one of those tasks is to get my very own 3-segment Dunsparce. So I went looking, and I was able to find my first shiny Dunsparce to evolve. But I won't be evolving this bad boy just yet. So you'll just have to stick around to see if I get that 3-segment Dunsparce. And this is also where I called it for the first day of the challenge. I played for about 2.5 hours, which obviously isn't a crazy long time, but since I'm going to be shiny hunting for the next 49 days, I really didn't want to burn myself out. Cock-a-doodle-doo, it's day number 2. There were 3 water type outbreaks on my map, so I started at Azurill, made my sparkling sandwich, and started hunting, which seemed to take suspiciously long, but eventually...
Wait, this thing's not a water type. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Oh, I forgot it's not a water type.
And that would be why. Next, I went for Magikarp, and after just 4 minutes...
Oh my gosh.
I told you there would be more ducks.
I feel like Psyduck has got to be one of the most common random shinies. I in no way can back up this claim though.
And 10 minutes after that...
Ooh, that was definitely shiny, come on.
And this would be a costly error. But a few minutes after that fail...
No shot.
And I wouldn't end up finding another shiny for 45 minutes.
There's no way.
Maybe I can back up that claim. And another 45 minutes after that...
Is that it? Yes.
And then I tried finding a Cloyster, which didn't happen.
Let's give it up for day 3!
Day 3 was my first minimum day. I set a rule in place that I had to shiny hunt each and every day for at least 30 minutes. So, the length of 1 sandwich. The reason for this is because I was busy working on other videos while recording this one. So, there's gonna be a handful of days like this. For this minimum day, I made a Dragon Encounter sandwich and started hunting Tatsugiri, since one of my tasks is to find every version of the little sushi. And I found nothing with my 30 minutes of hunting. Woo! Day 4, I made another 2 dragon sandwiches, but this time I found a Tatsugiri within the first minute. And that was it. Day 5, there was a Flittle outbreak, which shined after 15 minutes. Then I went looking for Spoink. Please don't stop bouncing, which is one of the cutest Pokemon, and has an incredible shiny that I don't think enough people are talking about. Please don't stop bouncing, and an Espeon, the best shiny evolution. The next day there was a Slowbro outbreak, and I couldn't pass up that opportunity. And while I was looking, I got stuck on this rock. But after an hour, no thoughts. And after that, I still had a bit of time on my water boost. So I went to the Team Star Fairy Base for an attempt at a shiny I've wanted since this game's release. I can't even tell you how many times I've tried hunting for this thing. But now it was mine. And after, I decided it was time to hunt for Eevee, another shiny that has eluded me since this game's release. So I made a normal sandwich and started looking for where they spawn. Is that? So since I couldn't find a good spot to look for Eevee, I decided to use everyone's favorite mechanic, date skipping. And I kid you not, it took so long to find an Eevee outbreak. So long that I stopped playing for the day, and tried again the next. So, if you're looking to get yourself a shiny Eevee, let me leave you with this bit of pro gamer advice. Don't. For real though, it took over 4 hours just to get this thing to appear. 4 hours of doing this. Yes! Oh my gosh. It happened. I rushed over to it and started knocking them out. And I kid you not, it took well over 5 minutes for all of these notifications to go away. But once I had this outbreak, I wasn't leaving until I found as many Eevees as I wanted. I found one, then another, then another. I wanted to make sure I caught as many shiny Eevee as I could. I caught so many Eevee that the outbreak dispersed. So how many do you think I caught? 10? 20? Rookie numbers. 30? 4. I caught 4. Wait, what? Yeah, it turns out I killed way more Eevee than I intended to because of all those notifications. Whoops. But realistically, who would need more than 4 shiny Eevee? It's not like it has more than 4 evolutions. Oh no. Now done with our first week of shiny hunting, let's see where we stand. 15 hours played, 22 shinies caught, 1 shiny failed, 0 tasks completed, 3 Psyducks found. Day 8 and the start of week 2 started out nice and simple. After that Eevee fiasco, there were some bugs to deal with. First, a Nimble outbreak. Then, Venomoth outbreak, which disappeared because it became daytime. And then a Fortress outbreak, which one also didn't show up. So, day 8 became day 9, where I tried again, finding a Fortress within 45 seconds, attempting Venomoth again for an hour, which disappeared because it became day, and then looking for any other bug, which didn't happen. Day 10 started off with a Dragon Sandwich looking for Applin. Hunting Applin can be a relaxing AFK hunt. Just use Let's Go to let your Pokemon, in this case Charizard, kill them. Although it took over 2 hours, the little sour apple showed up. And what better way to follow up this green apple than with a bit of salt? Was that a good segue? Nacli was my next target. And Cloth.
Ow! Jump scare.
So, I searched for 30 minutes with a rock boost, found nothing, then made another and started looking for an outbreak, which appeared after just 1 date skip. But 30 minutes there, and still no shiny. So day 11 continued those 2 hunts. I made another rock boost and found another Nacli outbreak. And as you can see from my map, it's just slightly to the right of where I was killing Nacli. Turns out the Nacli I'm killing right now aren't part of this outbreak. This outbreak was fake. So I left after 30 minutes, did more date skips, and a Cloth outbreak appeared. But it was also fake. Definitely a great start to the day. Eventually I found a real Nacli outbreak, and it shined after 15 minutes. And then a real Cloth outbreak, which shined after 45 minutes. After the Stony Cliff Titan, I wanted another, so I made a dark sandwich and jumped off a cliff, because that's where you can find Bombardier, which took not 1, not 2, but 3 sandwiches to show up, and then it dive bombed on top of me. And with 15 minutes remaining on the boost, I quickly went for another dark type in the desert, and it didn't take too long. Then I tried my luck looking for a Maschiff with another sandwich, and that obviously didn't happen. Day 13, there was a Finizen outbreak. So I went there, KO'd 60, and made 4 sandwiches before it showed up. But this is our final shiny of the first full box. Woo! And for the final day of week 2, I wanted a Noivern, which ended up being a huge mistake. I went there and attempted to kill them, but they just kept flying away. And like Charizard, just fly up there. You have wings! You may be asking why I even bothered staying here, but look at that shiny. It's so good. Eventually, I knocked out 60, which alone probably took 30 minutes. Only Noivern didn't want to shine. I spent well over 2 hours looking for this shiny bat. I got frustrated and gave up. A deflating end to a rough week. No, don't play the victory music. 14 hours played, 8 shinies caught, 0 shinies failed, 0 tasks completed, and you know it was an unlucky week because I didn't even find one shiny Psyduck. I've labeled these 2 weeks as the boring weeks, not because I was unlucky like last time, but I was just much more busy these weeks, and I was only able to play for the minimum of 30 minutes each day. So here's the rundown. Day 15, Psyduck. 16, Orthworm and Tinkaton. 17, Jolteon and Voltorb. 18, nothing. 19, Lucario. And 2 feet away, Hawlucha. 20, nothing. 21, Snover and Snorunt. Day 22, Gardevoir, Marill, Iron Valiant, Fido, and Jigglypuff. Big day. 23 and 24, nothing. 25, Toadschool and Nummel. Day 26, Wooper. 27, I failed in Iron Hands. Failure. And then found another. And day 28, Choodle and Don Bozo. Seven hours played, 20 shinies caught, 1 shiny failed, 2 tasks completed, and 1 Psyduck found. For only spending the minimum of 30 minutes a day, I would say finding 20 shinies is a success, but things were about to get a bit wild. Did you ever play a sport where you spend an entire week basically non-stop practicing? Me neither. But for week 5, I really wanted to put my sanity to the test. Just some disgusting, sweaty gamer hours. Demon hours, dare I say. And I kicked it all off with revenge for Noivern, with a Noibat outbreak this time. And I found it pretty fast. And then another just for some safe measures. Next, I went looking for the other 2 Tatsugiri I'm still missing. And of course, I found a dupe for the only shiny sushi I had. So, I made a few more sandwiches and found nothing. And just like when you eat sushi, after searching for over an hour, I needed some ginger as a palate cleanser. So, next I went hunting for some bugs. I started in the olive fields and found Kricketot and Combee within 15 minutes. I then spent another hour and a half looking for Pineco. Pineco only spawns in trees, so the hunt can be a bit obnoxious. And this was the only thing that I had to show for it. Oh, fun! So I made up for it by finding everyone's favorite shiny. And with the same water boost, I figured I should look for another Paradox Pokemon. I then spent my next hour at a Happiny outbreak. I love this cute little egg, but its shiny is a bit hard to distinguish. Fortunately, I just so happened to be looking in the right place at the right time. After, I went to another outbreak, but one that I've always dreaded doing. I never bothered doing a Magneton outbreak, or Magnemite for that matter, because I always thought the lighting would make it shiny too hard to see. But I was happily mistaken. It was much more noticeable than I thought it would be. And with some time left on that electric boost, I went for another Paradox. This time Iron Thorns, which did me the honor of showing up nice and quick. And this is easily my favorite of the shiny Paradox Pokemon. Speaking of shiny electric types, and how about one more for good measure? And that concludes day 29. Day 30 will be known as Dunsparce Day. I spent all day just catching shiny Dunsparce. And now it was time to evolve all my Dunsparce to see if we got the 3 segment. Nope, The next day, I started off at a Dreepy outbreak, which took a bit longer than I would have liked, probably because they kept spawning in the ground. Then I went looking for Cyclizar, which I'm very lucky didn't despawn, unlike a different dragon.
Failure.
I then spent an hour trying to reclaim said dragon, with no luck, so I packed up and went looking for a little cotton ball. Aw, isn't it just so perfect? Then, with a flying type sandwich, I spent some time with some penguins. Not too much time though. Also, I don't care what anyone says, this thing is purple. And with the time remaining, I went to the desert for a rufflet, which I didn't find. But with another flying boost, I went to Cascarrafa Lake. Then this happened.
Failure.
2 in 1 day. That's rough, buddy. It was kind of fitting though, since my first shiny fail during this challenge was a Magikarp. This shiny I did reclaim though. And right next to where this happened, if you make a grass sandwich, you'll find yourself a plethora of Tropius, which is a Pokemon I love. But they don't love me, because I searched for an hour. So I tried again, except I forgot what type of sandwich I was supposed to make, and because of that, I had my fastest ever hunt, even if it was an accident. That's gotta be some kind of record. Since I made the wrong sandwich though, my Tropius hunt was on hiatus for 30 minutes, but I didn't end up finding anything anyways. Then with my next grass sandwich, found the long neck. I love its bananas. And with that same grass boost, found this. Next, I made 2 fire sandwiches to try and find Iron Moth. This is probably my least favorite of the paradoxes to hunt, and unfortunately, I would have to come back and try again later. I then spent far too much time looking for an Umbreon outbreak, which is where I found this. Such an amazing shiny. And somehow, believe it or not, this is the first ghost type I've caught, which means we've completed the task, catching a shiny for every type. Only took a month. Unfortunately though, I had to leave this Umbreon outbreak because it became daytime, but I did go and find myself a shiny Sneasel in the meantime. Then I went looking for a different evolution, which shined fairly quickly. And then it was time to go back to Umbreon, which also shined quick this time around. Day 32 started off with another dark sandwich, and with it, I spent approximately 30 seconds in Area 0. Then I went looking for the Top Hat Burb. Oh, there it is. After that, I wanted to reclaim another shiny I no longer have, for reasons. And it definitely has to be one of the best pink shinies. And with that same water boost, I got myself another Carp. Then I went to a Shuppet outbreak, where I went AFK, and this little fella showed up. Another underrated shiny. Charcadet was my next target. I love the Pokemon, but I have such mixed feelings about its shiny. It really could have been one of the best we've ever seen, and instead, all they did was change its eyes, which, I can't lie, looks incredible. I just wish there was more, and since it's such a subtle change, it's a little tough to find, and took me like 2 hours. But with some time left on my fire boost, I went to the Dalizapa Passage, in hopes of finding a shiny Salandit. There's 2 things that make this hunt a little unfortunate though. First, the lighting in here makes so many of these lizards shine, but not in the good way. And second, Salandit only evolves if it's female, and it's male 88% of the time. So, getting a shiny Salazzle can be extremely rare. Oh, I mean we could just find shiny Salazzle. And somehow, this was the first Gen 7 shiny I caught, which was the last one I needed. So, that task is complete. But then I immediately found another one. Alright, I think it's time we pick up the pace. Montage time. Well, that was intense. Let's check this week's summary. 60 hours played, 75 shinies caught, 5 shinies failed, 5 tasks completed, 1 Psyduck found. After such a brutal week of gaming, I was looking to do something a bit more laid back and relaxed. Meet Spiritomb. Spiritomb is the only Pokemon in all of Gen 9 that is locked to a fixed encounter. A fixed encounter is a single Pokemon that spawns in only one location, like any Terra Pokemon you find, or like the Palmy at the beginning of the game, and tons more. A non-fixed encounter is everything else. So, encounter power does not play any role here. On top of all that, fixed encounter Pokemon have unchangeable shiny odds. So, sparkling power is useless. And even though I have the shiny charm, it has no effect. So, the odds are full at 1 in 4096. So, the only way to catch these Pokemon shiny is to knock them out, save your game, then reset, and they'll respawn. And every time you reset, a newly generated Pokemon will appear, each with the same 1 in 4096 odds of being shiny. With near perfect attention, a reset can be completed in about 40 seconds, which means you could check 90 an hour, taking a resounding 45 hours just to reach base odds. Well, I'm definitely not perfect. So let's say I can do 75 checks an hour. Well, then it would take just under 55 hours to reach base odds. So, no matter what, we're gonna be here for a while. Also, yes, I know you can just breed for a shiny Spiritomb, but you're forgetting 2 crucial things. 1, I hate the Masuda method, and 2, this is an interesting and unique hunt that I'm looking to tackle head on. So here's what happened. Nothing. I spent the entire week doing resets. Once I reached base odds, which took me just about 52 hours, I was done. Unfortunately, I'm on a bit of a time limit with this video, and I don't want to waste the last 8 days of this challenge continuing to search for this shiny, even if it is magnificent. So, it was time to move on. 52 hours played, nothing else. Welcome to the final week. Now, as you can tell from my pants, I play Pokémon Violet, but I do in fact own a copy of Pokémon Scarlet. I just haven't played it, but that doesn't matter because I can join a union circle with myself, and even though my Scarlet file has 0 progress, you're still able to enter Area 0 with the Violet account, and find past Paradox Pokemon. Or at least that's what I thought. The actual only way for past Paradoxes to show up for the Violet account is for the Scarlet account to also be in Area 0. And since this account doesn't even have Koraidon, I obviously can't do that. So, what does this mean? Is this week just a wash, just like the last one? Should I just forget about going for the past Paradoxes? Pfft, yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. I played through the entirety of Pokémon Scarlet as fast as I could just to hunt these 7 shinies. I'm no speedrunner, although I like to pretend like I am, so it took me 13 hours. And I was also still doing some Spiritomb resets on the side. But now, with the game completed, I can enter Area 0 on my Scarlet account and hunt these Paradoxes. Here's how it went. I made a sandwich and started off with what's considered the easiest hunt. If you go to the bottom of Area 0 during the day, with a Ghost Boost, nothing will spawn, unless it's a shiny. Easy peasy. So easy, I found another. Next, a Fighting Boost, and back to everyone's favorite rock. Another easy find. But that was all about to change. Also, this was the final Titan Pokemon we needed to catch, so that task is finally done. Except, there was one more shiny I needed before I considered it a success. But we'll get to that. As for me, I went elsewhere in Area 0, because there's another fighting type Paradox. The only Pokemon with 2 Paradoxes. And just like Iron Moth, Slitherwing gave me a bit of trouble. But eventually, I got it. Next was Screamtail, which also took me a few hours to find. Since I just beat the game, I obviously don't have the shiny charm, So that definitely could be playing some role in how long these hunts are taking. Afterwards, the hunt I was dreading the most, Sandy Cheeks. Shocks. I had the same fears about this hunt as I did for Magnemite and Magneton. I had heard it was a rough one, and honestly, it was. Not because of the lighting though. It just took hours to show up. Similarly to Magneton, it was much more noticeable than I thought it would be. And this is something I've said before, but I don't think there's a more fitting Pokemon than this to be caught in a luxury ball. Dang it. The penultimate hunt was for the sus Emo Mushroom, and of course, at the Rock. And it didn't want me to wait too long. The final hunt of the week is everyone's favorite, Roaring Moon. Also known as the Phasing Moon, Roaring Phase, something like that. Because it's well known if you're hunting for this thing, you'll be phasing. If you don't know what phasing is, it just means you find a shiny that's not your target. And since it's impossible to do an isolated encounter, you find a bunch of other shinies. Well, personally, I simply just choose not to phase.
Failure.
Doesn't count, I didn't catch it. The next one will be... Okay, the next one for sure. Oh, there we go. All in all, I got pretty lucky with this hunt. It did take a couple of hours, but it could have been so much worse. And there you have it. All the past paradoxes shiny. 27 hours played, 11 shinies caught, 1 shiny failed, 1 task completed. And now that I had them all, I just needed to transfer them over to my copy of Violet. There we go. Wait, what's the Spiritomb doing in here? Yep, I did end up finding it. It may have taken longer than the week I gave myself, but I didn't stop looking in my spare time. I didn't really keep track though, so let's just say it took an extra 20 hours. For the last day, I just wanted to try and finish up our remaining tasks. First up, I did some date skipping and found a Sylveon outbreak, which took a little while, but one did shine. The second best shiny evolution. And the final one we needed. After, I went and caught a couple more shiny Dunsparce, and they still didn't want to evolve into the 3 segment. Then I found a Tatsugiri outbreak. Tatsugiri outbreaks are actually broken. No matter which version shows up on the map, the orange one will always be there. Fortunately, we already caught the other 2, and after a little bit, the third and final version, which this completes 2 more tasks. All the Tatsugiri, and officially all the Titans. Finally, I went and found one last Tandemaus, which did not become a family of 3. Sag. But with that, we are finally done with our 50 days. So here we are, at the end of the journey. And what a journey it's been. I started working on this video so long ago, so I really hope you enjoyed. We ended up playing for 197 hours, caught 143 shiny Pokemon, failed 8, consumed well over 300 sandwiches, and completed 12 of our 15 tasks. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and next time you see me, we'll be in the DLC. See you then.